SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in on a Wednesday, the first day of April, which means your time spent online has been filled with cringe and terrible attempts at trying to fool you on this day of April Fools. I mean, not a single one has moved me in any way. I have not even chuckled at any attempt at an April Fool's joke today. Not one. Nothing.
Next Tuesday, April Fool's Day, you're the biggest fool in all of Madison, and that is you, Michael Borky.
When did you turn Irish?
I don't know.
We will talk some baseball today. We had some interesting results last night. Mississippi State wins comfortably, but Brian O'Connor not happy with his team's performance last night at all.
No.
Southern Miss got smoked last night. Interesting result there. We'll look across the SEC. D1 Baseball put out their regional projections. They are interesting. We will go through those. We'll talk to Aaron Fitt of D1 Baseball. And we'll also talk to Kendall tomorrow. So we'll get both angles of the guys that make this projection. We'll talk a little college football. Something Pete Golding said stood out to me. I want to bring that back up. So a busy show today. So glad you're with us.
We are glad that you are here in the Pearl River Resort Studios. We'd be glad if you were at Pearl River Resort because you'd be having a great time. You would be enjoying yourself. You could be out there right now on the golf course finishing up a great round at Dancing Rabbit. You could be, getting ready to relax in the spa. You could be getting, a couple hours away from your dinner reservation at Philip M's or maybe some late-night entertainment. It's all right there for you at Pearl River Resort. C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect Bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That would include the new iPhone 17 and the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. So don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you.
The current state of the internet has completely ruined April Fools. I'll give you an example. Apparently, we are sending people around the moon. A crew of four.
Yes.
Apparently, just brilliant people with the most impressive backgrounds. Hey, Dad, I had
the best people.
Truly, the best of us. And remember when we used to celebrate people like this, and instead we make famous the dumbest of us. But anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make here. I see an article posted providing the background of the 4 astronauts that are going to go around the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I had to leave Twitter, pull up Google to verify that we are actually sending somebody to the moon. That's how bad we have gotten in the online space of disinformation. State baseball fans, you have dealt with this lately with the whole AI-generated articles, AI-generated lots of things. People are using AI to create images of Mississippi State baseball that are not Mississippi State baseball at all, in fact. So you've dealt with that. Ole Miss fans during the season dealt with that. I remember a Facebook article went viral that said Keith Carter was giving $30 to the local homeless community to clean the stadium for him.
$30 an hour.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, that was a good one.
But That's
the
where
AI
we are
picture
now.
of Vaught Hemingway with like 2 upper decks and all this stuff.
But there's like a skyline in the background too, like a major metropolis or something like that. But that's where we are now.
That was just the lyric. It was fine.
I couldn't even be like, oh wow, cool, astronauts are on the moon, because of how fake everything is online.
Yeah.
I couldn't even initially just be like, oh, wow, cool, proud to be an American, that's awesome, and read about it. I had to verify that it was real.
That is literally every day on social media right now. That is, anytime I see anything remotely resembling breaking news, I'm clicking on profiles, I'm double-checking everything. I refuse to get got. I feel bad for those that get got. But in some ways I do, in some ways I don't. Because if you get got, it's probably your fault. It's probably your fault. So, I don't know what to tell you. I like this Hail State Diamond thing that's been going on for the past couple of weeks. It's just incredible. First off, I want to give maybe I'm actually a little bit, I got to give them some credit. They put out an incredible amount of content, and they just put the bait in the water, and the fish come. And every day they're, somebody else has done something that is completely improbable, but somebody who claims to be the biggest Mississippi State fan in the world just totally buys into it. Oh, State's going to bring Ron Polk back as coach? Okay, I get it. Sure. Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
I mean, I you know what? Whatever they're doing, it's working. They're getting clicks. They're getting aggregation. What more can you ask for at that point?
Reed Wiseman is the commander on this crew, by the way. Navy veteran, pilot, engineer. He's been with NASA for a while. Spent 165 days on the International Space Station. The next one, Victor Glover, also former United States naval pilot, and he was on the SpaceX crew to the International Space Station. The other 2 crew members, Christina Koch, I believe is how you say her last name, Koch, right? Koch. She spent almost an entire year, 328 days on the International Space Station. Longest single space flight by a woman in her career. She has been an astronaut for quite some time herself. And Jeremy Hansen, we're actually letting a Canadian on this flight. Hey, Dad, he's a Canadian astronaut and former C-18 fighter pilot. I know, we're letting him up there. But he has also been an astronaut. He's the first non-American astronaut to participate in a lunar mission, apparently. But that is the 4 crew.
He's an astronaut. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to hit the thrusters now.
But yeah.
It just popped into my head. I was like, it's got to work. Yeah.
I hope they just call him silver medal.
All right. Captain second place. Let's go.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that is that's really cool.
What was Reed's name again?
Reed Wiseman.
Yeah, somebody says we're not sending Reed Dumman.
Yeah, no kidding, right? If Reed Dubman was going up there,
I'd feel really bad.
Would not be good.
That'd be a terrible name for an astronaut.
Man. Wait, hold on a second.
What?
The guy who's in charge is a state graduate?
Is that true? What's his name?
This is Lucas in Union.
What's the guy who's in charge?
The commander, Reed Wiseman, Wiseman.
Oh, hold on. Let's see here. I'm not seeing that. He went to Rensselaer Polytechnic and Johns Hopkins.
Lucas in Union, fake news.
He's from Baltimore. So, yeah, I'm not.
So, those are just the 4 astronauts. Maybe he's talking about the mission, like the home base, like mission control guy. I don't know.
Maybe so, yeah.
But Lucas, give us his name, because that's worthy of a shout out. If the guy involved in this moon mission, or a person,
the guy on the ground that's in charge is what he's saying. Okay.
So
who would that be?
Yeah, you got to give us a name, man. I would love to look into this person. And, I mean, honestly, try to effort getting him on the show when this mission is over. That would be incredible. Parker Glass, hey, Dad. Shout out Rebecca Turner.
There we go. Parker Glass. Artemis.
World-class Parker Glass.
He is for, yes, Mississippi State. Yes, correct.
That's incredible.
There you go.
Really, really cool stuff. So there's your non-sports news of the day. We're going around the moon again.
Yeah.
Shout out Pink Floyd. We're going to see what's on the other side.
The lunatics are on the air, is what I would say to that. So
I've listened to that album all the way through so many times. I can't even count. What happened so many times is top 25 teams getting beat in baseball last night. It was a rough night to be ranked. We will go through the SEC scoreboard and also look at Southern Miss's loss as well. That was a tough one for the Golden Eagles. We'll do that. We'll lock in. Talk about sports when we come back. But shout out Parker Glass, Mississippi State graduate, the on-ground. What was his title officially?
I didn't see. I saw what you're saying, but that's it, yeah.
Really cool stuff there. Sending 4 people around the moon. We'll be right back, talking baseball when we return.
From the Venable Glass.
Sports Talk Mississippi is back.
This is it.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Some terrible news I just saw here, boy. We have to stay away from sports for just a moment longer.
Okay, that's fine.
Jonathan, the tortoise, 193 years old, passed away today.
Wait, that's the one that saved his species, right?
The world's oldest living land animal died today. 193, born in 1832.
193 years old.
An animal that lived through the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all the Gulf Wars. Never mind everything. The Cold War.
The 2011 Ole Miss football season.
The fact that he survived that. 190 years old. What a legacy. Passed away today.
Isn't he the one that saved his species, or am I thinking of a different turtle that's just living the dream right now?
I don't know the answer to that one. So, oh well.
Last night in Starkville, the expected did happen. What happened in the game itself, not exactly noteworthy, I guess. Hey, Dad, but afterwards, Brian O'Connor was a little hot with his team. Not pleased at all.
Do you have the audio?
I can get it for you.
Let's get that, because I think our listeners want to hear that. He was not happy. And, it's funny. If you go back to the conversation that we had on this show Monday, we talked about mentality, and he talked about his guys showing up ready to play every day. And, that's how they've been able to avoid some of these losses that other teams around the SEC have suffered from. And let's be clear. We're talking about he had this rant's not the right word, right? He didn't rant.
Yeah, so the audio is not going to be the clearest audio you've ever heard, but you can hear it. So
right, let's go ahead and play that.
I'll let them have it a little bit, right? And they need that. They need to continue to be reminded what the foundation of this baseball program is about. And that part of that foundation is that great players come ready to play with the right approach every day, no matter what. And I just didn't feel tonight, from an offensive standpoint, that our approach is what it needs to be. And my responsibility as the leader and their mentor and the guy that's going to shoot them straight is to tell them that. And I did, right? And they need to continue to be reminded, because this program is not going to be about giving days away and taking days off, right? And, if you want to accomplish what this team accomplished, and all that's great, the wins and everything like that, but the wins are a byproduct of the foundation of what your program is about. You're not going to win them all. Certainly we haven't won them all. We've been in every game, even the 4 losses. We had chances in those games, and that goes back to them being prepared and equipped every day to go out and play good, hard-nosed Mississippi State baseball. And, you know, I felt like our pitching did tonight. I just didn't feel like, from an offensive standpoint, don't care about the runs, right? I care more about the approach that you take every day, and that was a lesson today. We were fortunate, you know, like we won the ball game 12-0, and I understand that, okay? But my responsibility is to educate them on what it takes to be their best, so we as our team can be our best, right? If you're a position player and you want to take your talents to the highest level of baseball, right? When you're in AA, you can't give days away because there's somebody snipping on your heels, okay? And so maybe tonight taught some of them a lesson of not only what it takes to win in a state uniform and be our best, but also, too, when their time's done here, if they really want a shot to accomplish their dreams, you got to bring it every day, right? So, yeah.
After a 12-0 win last night, you have to just absolutely love that.
If you're a Mississippi State fan, that's got to be, borderline erotic. That is what you want to hear from a coach who accepts nothing but the absolute best. And again, we talked to him on Monday, and he talked about that. He said, that they had shown up every game. And Mississippi State is the only team in the SEC, as far as I can tell, that doesn't have a midweek loss to a, we'll say lesser team, right? State only has one midweek loss. It's to Southern Mississippi at home. They have a weekend loss to the number one team in the nation. They have 2 weekend losses to a top 25 Arkansas team, although who knows how much longer that's going to hold after what happened last night. Last night, Arkansas loses, Florida loses, Southern Mississippi loses, Oregon loses, Oregon State loses. All ranked teams. Mississippi State won 12-0, and that's what their coach had to say afterwards. It has to feel really good as a Mississippi State fan to hear your coach saying that, because it's clear what his expectation level is, and he is not going to allow a moment of slippage on their quest to be the best team in the nation.
Makes me wonder, by the way, I forgot to turn my mic on.
I was like, oh no.
It makes me wonder why. And every coach is different. You don't want to measure coaches based on press conferences, right? That you want to avoid that because, like for example, if you listen to Pete Golding's press conferences, you love what you hear more than Lane, because Lane was, it's going to get better. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything in terms of their ability to coach and win games, right? But why is that not the sentiment from more coaches, to be honest with you? I mean, how many coaches in the country would have been, satisfied with the win?
Yeah.
Do you want to win a championship or not? Because there's a different standard for a championship team and a non-championship team. And I heard a coach that has a standard, and you have not heard every coach, I mean, you State fans know it, talk as if the standard for Mississippi State baseball is that.
And, football's a little different, right? Because there's only 12 games, and it's easier to get your team to play in 12 games than it is to get them to play 55 games, especially when they're coming off of sweeping their in-state rival. They have a top 5 series at home this weekend. It's absolutely believable that they would have a down night and just sort of coast against a team like Grambling, who, God bless them, isn't going to come in and present a state. But somebody makes a good point. What if they have been playing, UAB or Samford or Troy or Missouri State? With that kind of effort, you would have been in real trouble. Would have been in real trouble there. So, if I'm a Mississippi State fan, which, as we know, I am, this is the kind of stuff I want to hear. All right, I don't want to sit here and say, they played all right and they did enough. It's got to be about being the best every day. Now, that's a scary thought, right? They won 12-0. What's being their best? 24-0? What would it have been?
When you're talking about opponent, yeah, probably.
Yeah. But
with all due respect, it is what it is.
And I didn't, somebody says that his conversation with Neil Price which he goes directly after the game ends, he goes on the radio with Neil Price. He said that was even more intense than what we just heard, that he was legitimately upset almost with his team. It's like I said, we haven't seen a lot of that, in previous years at Mississippi State. There hasn't been that kind of holding people to a certain standard. And that's something I said many times, right? Like I said, my standard for Mississippi State baseball is high. I expect them to be competing for Omaha on a year-in, year-out basis. And some people didn't want to believe that. And they thought, well, the state's doing about the best they can.
I remember those conversations. And you weren't saying make Omaha every year, but they should field a team every year that you look at them and say that team can compete for the College World Series.
Since they won the national title, they really – and even the 24 team that was good enough to be in the hosting discussion lost ridiculous non-conference games.
That team wasn't good enough.
They weren't good enough. So I'm glad to see that Mississippi State has a baseball coach that's going to hold his program to the same standard that I hold it to. And that's not to be like an ego thing, but that's just the way I feel about Mississippi State baseball. They should be a year-in, year-out. I've said it many times, a down year for Mississippi State baseball should be you're a 2 seed in somebody else's regional. You're the 2 seed that nobody wanted to play. That's what a down year should be.
It's not an ego thing. You're looking at what the program is, what they've invested, what they've built, and that should turn into something. Mm-hmm. So, frankly, if you were on an island of not many, because I remember those conversations. I remember the text line. I remember some of the pushback you got here. Mm-hmm. You were on an island less populated than the other island.
Yes,
and you were a lot more right than the other
now
island.
I'm sitting. Everybody's on my island.
Yes.
Everybody is on my island now. They're like, oh nope, this is a program that should be every year competing for championships. Well, that's what I tried to tell you. And some people wanted to shout me down because of that, and they said that I was being negative. Well, no, I was being positive. I was being positive that Mississippi State could be better than what it was currently. And Brian O'Connor, I think, agrees with me.
I've never understand that pushback. Is if you have high expectations, they think you're being the negative one. It's like, no, I recognize what the institution is and what it can be, and I want it to get there, but I'm the problem? That never – no. You were so right back then, and look at it now. Good stuff, really good stuff from the head coach. That's what you want to hear, especially when you're going to invest in what Mississippi State's investing in baseball. You want somebody in charge that understands the gravity, the weight that comes with that. Brian O'Connor does, no doubt. We'll be back. Talk a little bit more baseball. What happened last night? A lot. And then we'll look at regional projections as well. Sports Talk Mississippi, Pearl River Resort Studio. Stick around.
From the Seabrook bring Sports Talk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Borky and Haydad, Sports Talk Mississippi. We got this on the text line. Since we're on the ego talk, if Haydad has the ego with state baseball, I guess it's not an ego. It's a high level of expectations. Can we at least get him to agree that Ole Miss has earned a football ego? I will say, when we talked about expectations for this season, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you agreed with me that when you have what they've built in this era and retain who they retained and did what they did in the portal, there's no grace period for Pete Golding. What you have created as a program does not allow 7-5 in year one to be acceptable.
Correct.
You got to win right now because that's what you have been, and that's what you currently have on roster.
I would say this, if he didn't have Lacey and Chambliss and these guys coming back, you might have a little more
bit different,
right? But when you return a potential All-American stock quarterback, a potential All-American running back, the three building blocks that he has on that defense, the Mississippi guys, the wide receiver talent they have, expectations should be high. And Ole Miss is allowed to right now and for the foreseeable future say that they are one of the top programs in the country because they are.
The results have
won double-digit games 4 of the last 5 years. They They were in the college football playoff semifinals a season ago. I got no problem with an Ole Miss fan saying that they are one of the top programs in the country right now. They absolutely are.
They've earned it on the field.
Yeah.
Should State fans expect Saban/Bama results every year? Is there a better comparison for what they being State fans, expect yearly? Not national championships every other year. That's
without the psychopathic behavior. I feel like the O'Connor hire and the Kiffin hire at LSU are very similar. The only difference is O'Connor's won a national title, but basically LSU decided we're going to get the best coach we can get and then we're going to put the resources behind him so that the excuses are non-existent. And, there was an article today about LSU, $40 million roster. That doesn't buy you any patience. I know Kiffin was talking about patience the other day. You don't get to have it.
None.
And the same thing here. And O'Connor, but to O'Connor's credit, he has not backed away from the expectations here at all. He's talked about, openly about this is why you come to Mississippi State. So
yeah, if they were just average right now, people would be like, what the hell is going on?
They're 25-4. If they were 19-9, people would be like, "What's up with this team? This sucks." Well, what was going on? So yeah, he's delivering the results that he was hired to get.
So he says, "What happened to all the Southern Miss hype saying they can play in the SEC? Ha ha! They have 3 wins. They're 3-1 against the SEC this year.
Yeah,
they are quite a good team, but they did lose though last night. Not how you want to start your week. They lost to Sela 5-1.
Don't know if that particular texter has noticed. The SEC has lost a ton of midweek games this year to teams worse than Southern Miss.
Yeah, the SEC lost to Missouri State last night.
They did.
The SEC lost to Kansas last night also, but that's Missouri. That barely counts.
Yeah, and Kansas isn't terrible.
The SEC lost to Memphis last week.
Yeah.
So the SEC lost to the Citadel.
Yeah. There you go.
The SEC lost to UT Arlington. I mean, we can keep going if you want. But yeah, Southern Miss 5-1. That's just not. It's a tough start to the week.
Especially, Cross Sibley being on the mound, you thought they'd just come out there and just dominate that game. And yeah, that's not a good start. Southern Miss, they're
their
kind of
first bad loss, like truly bad loss.
They lost to Nichols.
Oh, that was a bad loss. So they have 2 bad losses now. That's how you kind of play yourself out of hosting.
That's how
losing games like
you've done so much good on your resume with the wins over State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oregon State. You have great wins. Don't give it away. But that's not a great loss. It's not a great loss for the Golden Eagles.
No, got to bounce back this weekend. On the road at Old Dominion, you got to come back with 2. If you want to stay hosting, you got to come back with at least 2.
Took a 7-point hit in the RPI. They're down to 16. Ooh. Mississippi State is at 6, and Ole Miss is at 12.
That 16 number is not
2. So Southern Miss right now, a total of 8 losses, 4 quad 3, quad 4 losses.
You got to start sweeping.
They need to pick up.
The reality is you got to start sweeping.
They have Old Dominion this week, right?
Old Dominion at Old Dominion.
They're 165.
And then they're at Lafayette.
That's a good series for them. Louisiana, that's a good series for the did I misspell it? I did.
Don't have to get 3 there, but you do have to start sweeping if you want to maintain
Louisiana
your
is currently 32nd in the RPI. If you can win 3 games there or 2 games there, you're doing really good. But Old Dominion is 165. You need to get all 3 this weekend from the Monarchs.
If you're going to host, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely you do. We'll look at those projections coming up here in a little bit. The scoreboard around the SEC last night, as we talked about yesterday, Ole Miss beat Little Rock on Kids Day, including a 6-7 Cam. Georgia had to come back, but they did beat Georgia State. That would have been a bad loss for the Bulldogs going into this weekend in Starkville, but they survived.
They did.
Kansas beat Missouri 11-8, 14-9. Georgia State. Mm-hmm. Kansas beat Missouri 11-8. Tennessee beat Austin Peay 13-4. Kentucky struggled some with Miami of Ohio, 14-11 the final there. Mm-hmm. South Carolina made easy work of the Wofford Terriers 11-1. I bet that felt good for that team. Oh, speaking of weird losses, didn't mention this one. Jacksonville going into the game in Gainesville last night was 13-15, and they beat the Gators 4-3.
What is Florida?
Who knows,
They lose
man?
2 to High Point. They get swept by Alabama, but then they sweep Arkansas on the road, and they come back and immediately lose to a lesser team. Like, make up your mind what you are.
Yeah, Jacksonville 2-7 in the Atlantic Sun. So that's Ole Miss's opponent this week. And if you wanted to see your opponent struggle going into your series, there you go. You got that. Vanderbilt beat Belmont 11-3. Oklahoma beat Oral Roberts 4-0. A&M beat Sam Houston 16-2. Arkansas lost to Missouri State. Now that's a good Missouri State team. That can end up being a nice series win for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Sweep of Missouri State.
Missouri
They beat Arkansas last night.
They've just hung around in the RPI right now. They're currently 10th. They have 9 losses. 7 of them are quad 1. So 3 of those are going to be Ole Miss. They're hanging around, for Conference USA. Those are good right now. Those are great wins for Ole Miss.
Georgia Tech beat Auburn 13-3.
Fraudburn
last night. Fraudburn? Is that what they're? Fraudburn.
I mean, they've lost 6 in a row now, and in reality, should have. I'm not 6 in a row. They did win a midweek. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games, and in reality, should have been swept 2 weekends in a row. Texas should. Losing that Friday game was inexcusable the way the Longhorns gave that away.
Yeah. Alabama got a nice win at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State 24-5 going into it, undefeated, 9-0 in Conference USA play. Mm-hmm. Alabama wins 4-3. Texas beat Texas State 10-8, and finally LSU, a 16-6 win over Southern. LSU though still just not inspiring at all.
That game was 6-1 Southern in the third, and then LSU tied it up. Then there was a long weather delay, and then afterwards it was off and running. Texas State was leading Texas for a little while there as well.
Did you see, for some reason, I don't know why, Jay Johnson got asked or was last night talking about the desire to coach Major League Baseball?
Jay Johnson. Okay.
Jay Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And his answer was like, I'm not interested at this time. Like, at this time?
I'll give him some credit then. At least he was honest, right?
Yeah, here it is. I have zero interest in that at this time. That's at this time.
That makes sense, right? Look, he's being completely honest with you there. Yeah, right now it's April 1st. The Major League Baseball season just started. Nobody's hiring and firing right now. If somebody were to open up, if a job were to open up for him in late October, he might be interested in it then at that point. I mean, you're a college baseball coach, an MLB job. Oh, it's only happened once, and it's happening right now. By the way, 2 in a row for those Giants. We'll see, yeah.
And part of me wonders...
Can you imagine if State's sitting there with O'Connor and then within a span of 2 years, Vitello and Johnson are out? It's like we're just looking around going, all right, let's go.
Part of me wonders is if he's also noticed that somebody's getting squeezed in the buying players game on that campus. Somebody's getting squeezed, at least a little.
Can't be baseball.
What's it going to be then?
If you made LSU fans pick, I think they would pick women's basketball. But the problem is that would get ugly because Melky would be loud about it.
Absolutely. So somebody they're going to tighten the belt somewhere. I wonder if he's gotten an indication.
Johnny, we can't afford the treatment. We got baseball players to buy.
Oh man. But yeah, that was I don't know why he's being asked about that right now. That's an odd...
Yeah, I wonder who asked him that question. That's an interesting...
If he's interested in Major League jobs. Well, it was March 31st at the time.
Yeah.
There's no jobs that he can go take right now, fellas. I don't
know what you want, yeah. But whatever.
But, oh well. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. We will look at these regional projections when we come back. All 3 teams making it. 2 of them meeting each other. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, Pearl River Resort Studio. Stick with us.
From the
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Boom! Are you ready for some football?
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
D1 Baseball put out their... Go ahead, hey, Dad. Looked like you were about to...
No. I was just taking a breath, getting ready to talk. Breathe in. Breathe out. D1
Honestly,
Baseball. Yeah.
Some breathing exercises are great for, like, mental health and all that stuff. Find them on YouTube. Yeah. They're very cheesy, but, man.
The square. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. D1 Baseball's regional projections, number 1 overall seed, UCLA opposite the 16 Oregon. NC State the 2 in UCLA's regional, with Arizona State the 2 in Eugene. Texas, the number 2 overall seed, with TCU, Lamar, and St. Joseph's opposite Coastal Carolina. And if you're a Southern Miss fan, you need Coastal Carolina to start losing.
Yeah, they're 9-0 in the conference. They
got to start losing. But they are currently the 15 with Auburn, Kansas, and Campbell in that regional. So Auburn would go to Coastal. Georgia Tech.
Funny. 2 weeks ago, Auburn's number 4 team in the nation.
Yeah, no kidding. Georgia Tech, the number 3 overall seed, was Cincinnati, Mercer, and Bethune-Cookman in that regional. Opposite Florida State, the 14 with A&M and Missouri State in that regional. Ugh, that would be awful.
That's a tough regional for the Seminoles.
Mississippi State, number 4 overall seed as of right now. Notre Dame, Kansas State, and Rider all in that region.
Notre Dame back in Starkville for the 3rd time in postseason baseball, if that were to hold up.
Couple big brands in there. I don't know how good either team is, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
And then, of course, look out for Rider.
Of course.
So the Riders of Rider. I made that up. I don't know what their mascot is. I know it's a horse.
They are the Broncos, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
They should be the Riders. I'm going to call them the Riders from here on out.
Yes.
Opposite Florida, the number 13 overall seed with Boston College, High Point. Look out. High Point's on kind of a heater right now.
Well, High Point.
And Yale.
Did they take 2 of 3, or did they sweep Florida a few weeks back? I mean, I know they took 2 of 3. So, and Boston College is really, really good. So,
Virginia, the 5. How about Virginia? Losing O'Connor and playing good baseball.
And they brought in a guy that I thought State could have brought in Chris Pollard, though. So,
yeah,
good coach.
With LSU, the 2 in Charlottesville, UConn and Bucknell. It's not a fun regional.
UConn, always good.
Opposite Alabama. Alabama, the 1, obviously. Nebraska, the 2. Miami, the 3. And SEMO, the 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the 1. Didn't they just give a fat extension to their baseball coach like last week or a few days ago?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think that answer is yes, which is odd because why right now? Why now? Nobody's hiring a coach. But anyway. Kentucky, the 2 there. Texas State and Wright State, the 3 and 4. Opposite Athens, Georgia, with UCF, Jacksonville State, and Murray State. Uh-oh. Look out, Georgia. Don't Google their ballpark and think that they've got nothing for you.
They can play.
West Virginia, the 7, with Wake Forest, Tennessee, and Oral Roberts.
Tennessee, a 3 seed in somebody else's region.
Wake Forest, with that pitching staff, the 2.
Oof.
Shout out Mountaineers. Congratulations on hosting. Here you go.
Yeah.
Opposite Southern Cal with Oklahoma, the 2, Cal Poly, and Nevada.
Uh-huh.
And then the 8 seed. Right now, Southern Miss still in the hosting conversation, with Ole Miss, Pittsburgh, and Bryant in that region.
I mean, we're so unoriginal. Can we just have
pathetic.
A little originality?
The answer is no. Not in baseball.
We cannot. No. This is probably where we're headed, if we're being totally honest.
Southern Miss got to keep winning, though.
Yeah.
Got to get some sweeps.
Interesting, they're paired up with Oregon State, who they already beat once this year. Oregon State, the 9 seed, with Arkansas. Arkansas to Corvallis, Louisville, and Portland.
That's a brutal regional, too.
Yeah. The 8-9 are tough, yeah.
What about the 6 and the
6 and 11?
And the 7 regional. What?
The 6 and 11 and the 10 and the 7 regionals? Is that what you're asking me about?
But those are their regional projections. We'll have Aaron Fitt on here at 20 after the hour in the next hour to talk about that. And, yeah, good stuff there. I'm with you, though. Yeah, just send one of the two SEC teams from the state to Hattiesburg when they host, and that's just what they're going to do. No creativity, different matchups. They already play each other during the season.
If Southern Miss hosts either Ole Miss, LSU, Auburn, or if Alabama doesn't,
the nearest by SEC team that's a two will go there.
Will absolutely be there. You could almost set your watch to it.
NCAA's got to be cheap, I guess. After the news, we will talk some more baseball with Aaron Fitt. We got a college football fix coming your way. Kalen DeBoer took a very, very thinly veiled shot at another SEC coach. We'll tell you about that as well coming up as the show goes on. I'm Michael Borky. He's Brian Haydad. Sports Talk Mississippi, Hour 2 coming up.
Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here with you on a Wednesday afternoon. Brian Haydad and Michael Borky. Just the other day we were over at Ag Up Equipment, and they were telling us about the spring tractor blowout. I think Borky actually gave them that name. They were like, we're going to call it the spring tractor something. And he's like, what about blowout? And they were like, why don't you work for us? So, and let me tell you right now, the deals, they're hot. Right now you can get a John Deere 3025E with a loader for just $365 a month with 0% financing for 84 months. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah, right now, if you're thinking about upgrading your equipment,
brother.
Yeah, I am. Well, you like to over deliver or is it under promise and over deliver? That's what we're all about here.
Undersell, over deliver.
Yes, exactly, and that's what we're doing here.
They will not undersell at Ag Up, though.
No.
They will. These will not last.
They will not. Long. So maybe you need to make a trip right now. 15 locations throughout the state of Mississippi, or you can just go online at agup.com and check it out. The spring tractor blowout at Ag Up Equipment. You're down home dealer. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi, by the way? What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi?
So, a lot of football stuff after Aaron Fitt. So, we'll get to Aaron Fitt here in about 13 minutes. And then.
And you said, I have not seen it yet.
Don't look.
I'm going to try to avoid it. But apparently, Kalen DeBoer took a shot at Lane Kiffin.
Kalen DeBoer
took a shot across the bow.
Took a shot. So we will get to that.
I will do everything I can to avoid it.
Some other college football things mixed in there as well. Yankees-Giants, what was it, a 7-0 loss on opening night on Netflix, drew 3 million viewers on
Why we got to bring up that?
On Netflix, because the number just finally came out with...
just saying.
And so here's the comparison. On network TV, the over-the-air TV, big network TV on NBC, the next night, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. Now think about those markets, by the way. Those are comparable markets, all that stuff. 3.2 million people. So Netflix drew as well as the big network TV on opening, quote-unquote, opening night in MLB. This is a message. Now, there's been some news in the NFL where they're not going to count Friday games as short weeks anymore. So you can have a game on Friday and then play the next, or you can have a game Sunday and then play the next Friday. And for scheduling, they try to schedule buys around short weeks. Not anymore. Not if you play on Friday. They're going to have a full slate on Christmas. They're going to have a full slate on Thanksgiving. The NFL is doing all this stuff, and they're about to start selling more of these special games to Netflix, YouTube, Amazon. Get ready, sports fan. Major American sports leagues are going to be more and more on a platform like Netflix. Netflix is hiring sports people. They've done fights. They've done football games, obviously. Now they've done baseball, and people are watching. And so if you don't like it, I hate to tell you, It's coming. More streaming only NFL, MLB, NBA, etc. games are on the horizon.
It's just too much money. It's just too much money involved, and these streamers, these streaming platforms just have money to burn right now, and so this is where this is the best investment for your money. Like you get an NFL game, you will get people to watch. It's just literally that simple. MLB is a little bit more of a risk, but the NFL is no risk at all.
And so many people just have a Netflix subscription. I am against the government meddling in our lives as much as possible. I kind of think they should make it illegal to where if you're going to paywall something, I have to pay to access your content. You throw ads at me every 5 minutes like Netflix does. I think that, I'm already paying for your service. I'm giving you money for the content you're showing me, and then every 5 minutes I'm getting just ads thrown in my face. That shouldn't be allowed. I don't know what law that breaks. Maybe the 8th Amendment. But
the founding fathers were like, we got to really dial into these streaming platforms that are going to happen.
Did you see a podcast exposed ESPN and ESPN Plus for running commercials longer than the actual breaks?
I did see that, yes. And I mean, you've seen it before, right?
But intentionally.
They come back for, this is a multi-billion-dollar organization, right? They're not making such a big mistake that every time they come back from break, the play is already started. They're obviously doing that on purpose.
This has been asking for 3 days on y'all's opinion. Will State sweep Georgia? I think they'll win 2.
I'm not going to predict a sweep of a top 5 team in the country. I think they'll win the series, but I don't think they will sweep.
And Georgia hits bombs. Ole Miss tries to hit bombs. Georgia hits bombs.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's 100% difference, yeah.
And they do. It's a really good hitting team. State's pitching staff, especially the assumption is McPherson not going to go this weekend.
I would make that assumption.
Have not seen the rotation announcement publicly. So, maybe he does. I don't know. But if he doesn't, that's a Georgia lineup that can score on you. And I don't think you're sweeping that. I do think State will win the series, though. But I don't think you're sweeping.
A sweep is too much to ask.
Somebody says, bingo, Mike, not only should we not have ads when we pay that much for streaming services, those streaming services sometimes have glitches, buffering due to the volume of viewers. And that's something that they've got to figure out if they're going to keep doing sports. I mean, 3 million people is a lot of people, right? But they've done NFL games. How are you having buffering issues with 3 million people? That's unacceptable if you're going to keep doing sports. Because when you slap an NFL playoff game on Netflix, that's 30 million people, not 3. I mean, remember the Tyson fight, how awful that was?
I was just about to bring that up. The Tyson fight was miserable. Could not keep up with anything going on. And yeah, if you're gonna charge these prices and you're gonna do all that, it's got to be this way. So.
Remember when you got full moon in the Tyson fight?
Yes.
One of the most bizarre television moments. If you guys aren't familiar with what we're talking about, when Tyson fought whichever Paul it was Logan or Jake is the boxer?
Jake is the boxer.
Okay. So they're doing that fight on Netflix, and Tyson is getting interviewed in the locker room before the fight. Just basic interview. Tyson's got what you think is his, I don't know what you call boxing shorts. I'm just going to call them boxing shorts on.
It's trunks.
It's trunks. He's shirtless, but you only see from chest up. Very normal pre-fight interview. And then when the interview's over, Tyson turns and walks away. And he did not have his trunks on.
No.
You got every bit of the back end of Mike Tyson. And the camera guy, I guess, was wanting to show all of you. He made sure that you got clear view of Tyson there.
You saw all of Iron Mike that you wanted to see.
A whole lot more than you wanted to see.
Yeah. We're being honest.
If we're being honest, yeah. But, gosh, that was something. Hopefully the umpires don't have a diabolical, like the last time Georgia played. Debacle. He said diabolical, but debacle. Like the last time Georgia came to Starkville. That was truly one of the more bizarre, quote-unquote, officiating sequences.
Miserable.
There's
a rule now. There's a rule that came about of that. Of the Hunter Hines rule. This absolute lunacy.
Got to have a better name for not the Hunter Hines rule, but like the something cowbell.
I mean, the Hunter Hines rule is fine. Not a huge deal.
Ejected him for nothing.
Yeah, he was just standing there.
Just there.
Just standing there he was really trying to make peace. And they threw him out. It was, I remember watching, was there like a 30-some-odd minute delay?
It was something like that, yeah. It was unbelievable.
They tried to get all that squared away. Like, just ridiculous stuff. And one of those things where, just to put it mildly, they screwed up. That's all you can say.
They done messed up. They
done messed up.
We'll talk to Aaron Fitt here in a little bit. Get his thoughts on regional projections. This series upcoming this weekend in Athens, not in Athens, in Starkville and in Gainesville. And maybe look around the SEC as well with Aaron Fitt of D1 Baseball. I told Kendall, by the way, that he was joining us, and Kendall said that you have to give him a hard time because we went with Aaron first. And that's not acceptable. We should go with Kendall first and not Aaron, and we got to go with Aaron first.
Well, what you need to tell him is the way that Kendall hates our teams, we hate Kendall. It's only fair.
Fair.
We're going to return the hate. Yeah, so that's fine. I'll give Aaron a hard time. It's no big deal to me. We'll do that when we come back. We'll go to the Farm Bureau guest line. We'll talk to Aaron Fitt of D1 Baseball about Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Southern Mississippi, and, of course, their regional projections that they just put out today. Back in just a minute, Sports Talk Mississippi with you here on a Wednesday.
Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
This is a place for crazy people.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Go to the Farm Bureau guest line, check out favorites.com, and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. D1 Baseball's Aaron Fitt joins us right now. And Aaron, we went through some of your regional projections earlier in the show, and my first question is, how dare you?
That's a great question. I wish I had an answer for you.
So let's start in Gainesville. Ole Miss getting swept by Mississippi State at home, also losing to Memphis before that sweep as well last week. Brutal week for the Rebels last week. What are they facing in this Florida team upcoming starting tomorrow night?
Well, I just think Florida is very, very talented. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, it's elite pitching. That's what really stands out about them. I think that the arm talent is up there with anybody in the country. I mean, right there with Texas, and I put Mississippi State in that category as well. But, you're looking at, Liam Peterson has got as good a four-pitch stuff as you'll find in the country. It's, the command isn't always awesome, but when he's dialed, it's top of the draft kind of stuff. And Aiden King, has really good stuff and also really good command. And, their bullpen is just so good behind those guys with Jackson Barberi in particular has been really good lately, and they can kind of just piggyback a bunch of different guys and just throw power stuff at you. So they're pretty formidable.
In Starkville, top 5 series between the Bulldogs of Mississippi State and the Bulldogs of Georgia. I just on paper, I think we're going to see some runs this weekend, but I feel like State's pitching gives them an advantage. Yeah. They have had a better pitching staff this year than Georgia has. What do you think about this series, and does the winner of this series maybe have an inside track to getting the SEC championship.
I think that's a pretty good take. Yeah, I mean, obviously Texas right now would have something to say about that, but it feels like, State and Georgia and Texas right now kind of separated themselves as maybe the top tier in the league. And certainly you look at Georgia, it's a very scary offense. I mean, that's what jumps out, right? I mean, it's just the power numbers leap off the page at you. Trey Phelps is having an All-American season, and Daniel Jackson on the plate is really busted out. He's having an All-American type season, and a bunch of guys up and down the lineup, Branch and Hudson, and just they put up some big numbers, and there's no real holes. And they can, run guys off the bench, they can hurt you too. And they have lots of power arms. It's just a matter of, for them, I think it's about throwing enough quality strikes, whereas I don't think that's a question for State. I mean, we all love State's offense as well. I don't know that it's quite as explosive as Georgia's offense, but I think it's very good and disciplined. But I just think their pitching is especially the rotation, is a lot better. I mean, I've said it a number of times already this year, but I think you could be looking at 3 future first-rounders in that Mississippi State rotation. For next year, I think McPherson, Valincas, and Stone. If Stone can throw enough strikes, boy, I mean, that's another one that looks the part. It's real stuff, and it's a great body, and it's a lead extension and all that kind of stuff. So I think the bullpen has gotten better and better for Mississippi State. It feels like that's maybe was a little bit more of a question mark at times earlier this year, and right now it doesn't feel like a question mark at all. So, yeah, for me, it's Mississippi State and Texas have probably the 2 best pitching staffs in the league. And, when it comes to talent and performance, that combination. And so I think that's a separator.
Aaron, I think it was 5 teams in the top 25 for D1 Baseball that lost last night. It has just been a season-long thing of these midweek losses. Do we have a reasonable explanation for why so many ranked teams are struggling through the midweek?
I think part of it is, with a 34-man roster cap, the depth advantage that the power conference teams had in the past, when especially post-COVID, when you had 40-plus guys in your roster, that's been kind of negated a little bit. I mean, now it's you're seeing a little more of that talent spread out, even though certainly with all the NIL and the full rides and the revenue sharing that the SEC teams can offer, you still get more top talent concentrated with those schools. But that said, the other programs are getting better too, and certainly if they're really selling out to try to win some of those midweek games and your SEC teams are trying to build a little bit more depth and develop some of their guys lower in their staff because they have to focus on their weekends. It's so important in the SEC. I think it leads to a situation where upsets are just going to happen. And that's fine. I think we've always said weekends are what matter most. And I think that the committee also views it that way. I mean, not that those midweek losses don't matter, but the weekends matter more. They just do. And so I think you take your lumps occasionally on a midweek loss, and you move on. I think that's fine.
In your regional projections, you had Southern Miss an 8 seed, RPI sitting at 16. Got off to a really strong start to the season, scheduled really tough, won 3 midweek games against SEC teams. But then they lost their opening series in Sun Belt play. They don't have a sweep yet, lost their second kind of weird/bad midweek game. Are they teetering on the edge of not being a host? What do they have to do to maintain that status and be a host come season's end?
Yeah, it does feel like they're teetering is a pretty good word for it. They're just kind of the last 3 weeks. It has not been nearly as dominant or clean. I mean, especially kind of started with that series loss they had at Arkansas State, and you give them a little bit of a pass on that. And since then, they kind of grinded out series wins against Troy and App State, both at home. Both teams that. I mean, Troy's talented, but not having a good year. Those are series that you would have expected a top 10 team to handle a little bit more easily than Southern Miss did. And then you throw in that midweek loss to Southeastern. It just feels like right now they're going through one of those patches where you're just kind of fighting it a little bit, right? And to their credit, when you go through one of these kind of patches and you're still mostly taking care of business, you're still winning 2 out of 3 the last couple of weeks. You're kind of hanging in there. But it's baseball, and it's never going to be smooth sailing for 16 straight weeks. That's just not how the sport works. And so, I think part of it is they need to figure out starting pitching a little bit, and moving Colby Allen into the bullpen again. I think made a lot of sense. But right now, it feels like that's the piece that if you had to poke a hole in their roster, that's it. Because we like their lineup and we certainly love their bullpen, but it feels like their starting pitching is a bit vulnerable.
Arkansas is a team that has been ranked in the top 5 at times this year, but they've now lost 4 in a row. I thought the sweep this past weekend by Florida was maybe the most surprising result of the weekend. Then they have that crazy game last night with what appears to be a really good Missouri State team. Are the Hogs going to figure it out at some point? I feel like we've asked that question about 2 or 3 different SEC teams, but it's Arkansas's team to be in that spotlight.
Yeah, it does feel like it's been kind of a weird season for them. I mean, they were in the top, 5 to 7 of our rankings all the way through the season until this past week, and now they've lost 4 in a row, and they've kind of plummeted down the rankings a little bit after getting swept at home by Florida. But for us, that was a little bit of a course correction, because it just kind of felt like they were in that grinded out mode for a while, where it felt like maybe the results were good enough, but they didn't look always great doing it, if that makes sense. And, I think winning 2 out of 3 Mississippi State was pretty loud. Now, granted, one of those games was a total coin toss, and that series was at home, and you would expect a good team to win 2 out of 3 at home most of the time. But still, that was a high-end series win for them. The rest of the resume is just okay. I mean, it's not a lot of high-end wins in there. Just like they had enough talent to get by, but their offense has regressed a little bit this year. I mean, last year, they really kind of emerged as an elite offensive club. This year has not been the case. They're a lot more vulnerable. There's less firepower. I think they're still trying to figure out the right combinations, and they're still waiting for a couple of their star players, like Kuya Loy in particular, and even Ryder Helfrich. He's had a pretty good year, but I think there's more in the tank there, and I think they need more from Damian Ruiz and Mike Anu. They're big ticket transfer guys. They've been pretty good, but I think there's more potential there. So I think that offense has another gear that just hasn't found yet. And meanwhile, they got arms. They always give arms. It's Arkansas. They're gonna throw a lot of power arms at you. It just feels like right now they're just in one of those same kind of modes where they're just fighting a little bit. And there'll be ups and downs, but ultimately I still think it's a regional host kind of a team.
About 90 seconds left, Aaron. Real quick. Speaking of Arkansas, they go to Auburn this week. That's another team that they were ranked 4th just a couple weeks ago. Then they dropped 2 of 3 to Texas. They get swept by Alabama. They got run-ruled last night by Georgia Tech. These are good teams they're playing, but Auburn has not looked the part since they got that high ranking.
You're right, they haven't. And I was there the last 2 games of the Texas series after they won the emotional one in the series opener. And then they kind of, they just – I think losing the next 2 days really took a little bit of the wind out of their sails. And then you go to a rival on the road and you get swept, and boy, now it just feels like they're reeling, right? I always felt like they were maybe a little bit over their skis as a top 5 team. To me, they never quite felt like a top 5 team. I think they're a good team. I think it's a regional host type team like Arkansas, but not necessarily for me one of the leading contenders to win it all, which is where they were ranked last week. I think we had a little bit more of a course correction for them as well.
Aaron Kendall told us to give you a hard time because you got to be on with us first this week, and he'll be on tomorrow. But we'll just tell him that we did that because we love having you on. We appreciate you, Aaron.
All right, guys. Always a pleasure.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. He was in the airport lounge. He told me he's traveling, I guess, trying to find a series to go to this weekend. So we'll see where he ends up. Plenty more to talk about here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Eventually, Borky is going to tell me this. I still have not seen it.
We'll do that when we come back. So
I can't wait any longer. I got to know what Kalen DeBoer said about Lane Kiffin. We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi with you here on a Wednesday afternoon.
From the Seabrook.com.
Sports Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the groove, and to the top. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Call up Trudy on the telephone. Send a letter in the mail.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here with you on a Wednesday afternoon. If you're in the market right now for a new or pre-owned vehicle, our friends at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota would love to talk to you. Highway 6 in Oxford is where I got my car, and it's where you should be looking to get your next one. A great buying experience. Anybody can sell you a car. A lot of people give you a great deal, but who makes it worth the time? Who makes you feel like you want it? That's what you want from your car dealer. Just what you're going to get at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. Make sure you tell them that Hey Dad and Borky sent you. All right. I don't know if they packed up Lane Kiffin's stuff in a Belt Ford or Oxford Toyota vehicle when he left Oxford. But now he's in Baton Rouge. But apparently someone in Tuscaloosa had something to say about him.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer apparently has something to say. Now, he doesn't name...
What did he say?
He didn't name Kiffin specifically, but you know exactly who he's talking about. It'd be like saying, hey, you guys listen to Sports Talk Mississippi? You know the guy that lives in Starkville and his last name starts with an H? That's what DeBoer did here. I mean, that's how obvious he made it. As part of a long conversation that he had with Chris Lowe, he was asked about Michigan, and obviously Michigan wanted to hire Kalen DeBoer. They ended up with Kyle Whittingham. They wanted DeBoer. That did not happen. He confirmed to Chris Lowe that Michigan wanted to hire him. He said, quote, I would have had to have been living under a rock to not know. I'm not naive. I never talked to anyone, not one time. I just don't know how you could live with yourself and look into your players' eyes if you're looking at other opportunities in the midst of the season and getting ready for a playoff game and hopefully making a run at a national championship. End quote.
Well, that could have been about anybody.
What's his beef with Kiffin, though? Or is it just like, hey, that guy really handled that like a piece of you-know-what? And
yeah. It could be just as simple as I don't like the guy.
I don't like how he handled that. But these meetings that they're going to have in Destin are going to be a little awkward, man.
Well, I mean, you've got
Pete and Lane. Lane and DeBoer now, apparently.
Lane and Levy don't like each other.
Lane, especially.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But here's the thing that's funny, right? I mean, obviously, the way he left is going to be unless you're a CAA client, which Jimmy Sexton's going to lock you down and have you running PR for him on the set of College Game Day. But everybody else universally thought that he handled that in a crappy way. Here's my thing, though. Don't you want to have your house in order a little bit, Kalen, before you fire shots at somebody else? I mean, don't you win something of value at Alabama before you start looking down at somebody else?
At the same time, he is talking about taking other jobs. He's not talking about winning and losing. He's talking about the way you treat your players, and that's the case. I don't have a huge issue with that.
Somebody, this is Marty, the LSU fan. DeBoer is a hypocrite. Wasn't he doing the same thing at Washington? I don't know. Did DeBoer send his family on a plane to house hunt in Tuscaloosa during the regular season when he was at Washington before Nick Saban retired? I don't think that he did that. The Alabama job wasn't open during the season.
He did not job hunt during the season.
The job wasn't open to hunt for.
Right. Like it was after the playoff is when that did, yeah.
When Saban had a meeting interviewing an assistant.
You don't have to have won a national title to have a moral code and look down on Kiffin. I agree. Levy
he
can
has
look down
played
on
for one.
Levy can look down on Kiffin. Absolutely can.
Buddy, Levy and Durkin helped keep that program alive early on. Now, that changed. It changed rather quickly, but early on, the 2020 season and into 21, Ole Miss football is very thankful for Jeff Lebby and DJ Durkin at the time.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm more interested in that story than the end, is if Lebby would ever one day go on record about what he and DJ had to do early on.
Probably not.
No, but
it'd be funny.
It would be funny. So
I'm going off of you on that one, by the way. I don't know any of that for a fact.
They were the ones that were running the day-to-day operation of the program.
Right.
Very early on, Kiffin settled in, started actually, taking ownership of the program, won a lot of games. But the initial time there was not as
well organized.
Well organized. That's the good way to put it there. Somebody says I'd pay an insane amount for an MTV Real World style show with all the SEC coaches stuck in a house for 6 months. Man, those meetings that they're going to have, because it's the SEC meetings that they have. All the coaches go and they discuss things, and I mean, Alex Galesh was taking shots. Remember. About the transfer portal and tampering.
He was.
Alex Galesh has a player that entered the portal and committed to him on the same day. And then he goes behind a microphone and talks about tampering. So you got that hanging out there. That's what we need to televise, not media days. Because the coaches don't interact with each other really at media days. Not really. And there's only 3, 4, well, that's changed now, right? There's 4 a day. It used to be, 3, 4, 4, 3? And now it's 4 a day. At these meetings, they're all in the same room at the same time. What do you think you could pay-per-view those meetings? The behind closed doors coaches and Greg Sankey and a couple other executives from the SEC in a closed-door meeting. What do you think you could charge to get people to watch it?
Whatever you want.
What would you spend on it?
It's a little different because in my line of work, that would be great information to have. But I would expense it. I mean, so whatever they charged, I guess. Like, Will, I needed to hear what they were saying, man. What do you want me to do? Did you lose it there? You all right?
No, I'm just reading through some of the text here.
Okay.
But yeah, Kalen DeBoer taking shots. He better win. There's so much pressure on him. Man, I know they beat Oklahoma, but what did it amount to? They got embarrassed in the Rose Bowl. I mean, just absolutely embarrassed. They were non-competitive from the first snap of the game, and that's just not the standard. We talked about standards earlier. That's not the standard. So there's a lot of pressure on a lot of coaches in the SEC this year. There's hot seat pressure on Lebby. There's just prove that you were the right guy pressure on Pete Golding. There's we spent $50 million on your roster pressure on Lane Kiffin. There's hot seat pressure on Shane Beamer. But Kalen DeBoer's got, buddy, you got to compete for a national championship this year. Or else. Pressure. It's a tough spot to be in, especially with how volatile the sport is now and the 9th conference game. But that's where he is. It's the job he took.
It's the job he took. And this is, I don't have any sympathy. You know, there's millions of dollars going into your checking account. I got no sympathy. I got no time for that. But I don't know. I just like people taking shots at Kiffin. I'll just be honest with you. I've been on board with this for years. Like I was one of the early adopters of this guy isn't a good person. I was also, which look, it's just a coincidence, right? Matt Luke is a very good person, right? It's not just because they were the Ole Miss coaches, but I was an early adopter on Freeze too. Luke, I got no.
There's nothing wrong with Luke there.
So it's
and that was proven true every day by him getting the head coaching job did not change his personality at all.
So it was just I just knew. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you can just smell a rat. And Kiffin is definitely one of those.
Somebody says, why hasn't a streaming service picked up fall camp and some game weeks for teams like they do Hard Knocks? HBO did one in 2019 with Washington State, Florida, and Penn State, and it was awesome. You want to know why?
Coaches aren't going to let them have that
because the coaches are absolutely paranoid for some reason. They keep their programs locked down like Fort Knox, and for whatever reason, the TV networks that are writing the billion-dollar contracts are not telling them that's too bad.
It really is something that the SEC hasn't been like, we have to allow, especially considering the amount of money going into the programs from fans directly, that the SEC hasn't said something like, you got to open up.
If ESPN wants to produce that,
they will get it. They would come up with some money, but they were like, hey, we're going to give your program an extra $5 million. Zach Selman's going to tell Jeff Lebby, guess what? Practices are open now.
Yeah.
Assistant coaches are available now. Simple as that.
Simple as that. I mean, I'd watch every second of it.
Yeah.
Every single second. I love – now, Hard Knocks has changed, unfortunately. It's gotten more PR as opposed to a real look at the raw.
Yeah, it's not really the same, as it used to be.
It's lost its fastball. But it's still fun to watch. because you get team meeting footage and stuff. And I know that the schools produce like the season and all that, but that's produced by the subject. And when a documentary is produced by the subject, it's not as good. Like the Rory documentary. It was well done. Some cool stuff in there. But it was produced by Rory. It wasn't as good.
Kiffin was more of a capybara than a little rat from the text line. Super easy to sniff out. He was a nutria at this point.
Yeah. Fits the locale.
Yeah.
Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
Is the English way. The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I'd something more to say.
From the
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports. On your radio and in the game. Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. I'm Michael Borky. He's Brian Haydad. It's going to be like a weekly text at this point. Why should you be loyal to your players when they can transfer every year? Somebody says on the text line. Because they don't. Just because they can doesn't mean that they do. As we say all the time, Mississippi State's best players that had eligibility stayed after a bad season.
Riled up again.
Huh?
You're going to get that guy riled up again.
Apparently so, but, Isaac Smith could have gone a lot of places, probably for more money, chose to stay. Kelly Jones could have gone a lot of places for more money, but he didn't. Fluff Bothwell could have gone a lot of places for more money. He didn't. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, etc. Same thing at Ole Miss. The players that stayed felt like Pete Golding. That part of the reason why they stayed. Of course, yes, the money's got to be right too. I mean, Kejuan Lacey didn't stay for free. But we had an interview with Bryson Sanders, an offensive lineman, on this show. And when asked about Pete Golding, did you hear what he had to say? You may not have. You may have missed it. But just because the players can leave doesn't mean they don't. And clearly, players on both rosters, yes, they're getting paid too, but could have taken opportunities elsewhere and chose not to. That's why you show loyalty to your players, because they reward you with it in return. Suntarian Perkins could have gone anywhere in the country if he wanted to, but listen to him. He'll have a media op during spring practice. We'll play it for you if you want. When he gets asked about Pete Golding, listen to what he has to say. Will Eccles, when he is asked about Pete Golding, listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, like this. Not great logic. Why be faithful to your spouse when they could cheat? I mean, you recruit those kids. You have a relationship with them. You should. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be loyal to them. You can take other jobs. It's about being honest with them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we're looking at this the wrong way. It's not about being loyal. It's about, can you be honest with them?
Yeah. And they've done that, clearly. Again, not to gas up Mississippi State, but the State fans that think I hate them, here's gassing you up.
He does.
I don't, by the way.
Absolutely. He texts me every day.
But clearly, after the season that they had, other places would have seen a mass exodus of the best players. Something Jeff Lebby is selling is the right thing. Yes, there's got to be improvement in in-game coaching. I mean, the Texas game, for example, my goodness, there's no excuse to lose that game, and they did. So he's got to work on that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for signs of life, reasons for optimism, other teams win 7 games in 2 years, and the best players are out. Mm-hmm. But not in your program. That means something. And it's the same conversation about Pete Golding. Lane took 4 players with him to LSU. 2 of them started. That's it. Matt Campbell took his entire roster to Penn State with him. James Franklin took his entire roster to Virginia Tech with him. There's a little hyperbole in there, but what was it?
A lot of it, though.
A lot of it. That tells you a lot about what the team thinks about what Pete Golding is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like about how this offseason went for the two programs in the state for different reasons, different circumstances, of course. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just looking pie in the sky, whatever you want to call it. But I would be really optimistic right now if I were an Ole Miss fan listening to this right now, considering how the offseason went. I'd be really optimistic about the future of your program.
Yeah.
And for state fans, if you're looking for something to grab onto, it's that right there. 7 wins in 2 years, and every good player stayed in the portal era. That means something. It's a sign of something.
I tend to agree with you. I don't know. I feel like everybody wants this to be, I think because people don't like the portal, by and large, especially a lot of our listeners, they want the bad things to happen sometimes so that they can be like, well, we got to get rid of this. Look what happened. And when in reality, I mean, Ole Miss is, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you should love the portal. It should be your absolute favorite thing about college football.
Thing in the world.
You have become a consistent 10-win-a-year program in this era. For Mississippi State, it has been a struggle, but most of the reasons you have struggled have not been because of the portal. So the portal is what gives you a chance to go from 2-10 to, hopefully you can have a good season 2 years later. If you didn't have the portal, you couldn't do that.
601-879-4395, the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. So glad that you guys are with us. The Artemis II has cleared system checks. It's going to launch here and head to the moon in about 25 minutes from right now.
The moon!
I assume it's going to be streamed everywhere. You'll be able to watch it. So that's a pretty cool thing that's happening. But what's happening after the news on this show is the college football fix. Stick around.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You know I love sports.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
They're touring again. They got that new drummer. I don't know. They come near here, I would look into.
Dallas and Atlanta are the closest stops on the Rush tour.
So. When is that?
This summer.
I'm supposed to go to Dallas, but I think that's in the fall. I don't know.
What are you doing in Dallas?
That's why we're thinking about doing our family vacation.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. Have a
I told him I wanted to go somewhere where I could eat $100 worth of barbecue without blinking an eye. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to Dallas.
You should go to Austin and see the bats.
I don't like rats, so I certainly wouldn't want to see rats with wings. I've been to Austin once anyway. So.
Bats are cool, though. You go to that bridge, and every night the hundreds of thousands of them fly out from under the bridge and go eat bugs, and they come back.
I'm sure they're fantastic, yeah. The only bat I'm interested in is Batman, and I don't think he's a real person. So,
I mean, he might be. You never know.
Well, you know what is real?
What is real?
The college football fix. The College Football Fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. That's why you'll find the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you at this point. You're looking for a new car, new truck. There's only one place to go. That's your Mississippi Ford dealers. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Something has happened. I'm going to assume it's on the C Spire text line.
2 points of order.
Oh, no.
Because I got a text.
We've got to be smarter than this.
I got a text during the break about an AI Facebook article involving Mike Bianco confronting Brian O'Connor. That did not happen. And then we get this on the text line. Also, by the way, it's April 1st. It's April 1st. May have missed something while out of town working. What are things I'm hearing about the governor making some kind of offer to the Saints? I don't know where you saw that. It very well could have been Facebook AI or April Fool's, but I think we need to. You ever seen an EMP? Like, are you familiar with what that is?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
It's a New Age type bomb that wipes out all electricity. Very scary thing. There's a book about it, and if that ever happens, look out. But we need to invent one for social media.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
and just blow it up. Where we only lose social media, like everything else.
We got. It's got to be like a smart bomb.
Yeah, and just get rid of social media and start over again, because the amount of AI fake stuff that gets put out there,
especially
is
today,
so bad. Especially today, but it's every day. It's so bad, and it gets so many people, and it looks real. Why haven't they figured that out yet? Like how to stop that? That part I don't understand. Like, how has Facebook not been able to put an end to an AI-generated article farm? But no, the Saints are not. Tate Reeves is not pushing for the Saints to move to Mississippi. They never would. They're going to host the Super Bowl in 2031. The Bensons are New Orleans. They just put $500 million into the Superdome. That's. I'm
pretty sure like the governor of the state of Louisiana could not buy the Saints. Aside from somebody that doesn't have the money, like I'm sure there would be some sort of.
The governor of Louisiana, he's too wrapped up in Will Wade and Lane Kiffin.
His money's going to college sports.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, what is the college football fix today?
Okay. Something that I teased the other day. This story just makes me laugh from our friend at Foyaball. He got responses from about 40 of the college football programs when he put a Freedom of Information Act request into how much is your university private plane being used for football. Now, there is a caveat in this. Like, yeah, kind of, I'm not picking on Lane. It's just Lane didn't just fly in the Ole Miss plane. Right. So, and some schools have that set up where their coach will fly in a nice boosters plane and not the university plane. But this is, according to their budgets, how much the schools that responded anyway, in a timely fashion, allowed football, air quotes, football to fly private. You want to guess who's number one? We brought him up earlier.
It's got to be Alabama.
Kalen DeBoer. Alabama spent $1.23 million on football private flight travel in the year 2025.
It's a lot.
What is it like an hour? What does it cost per hour in a private plane? Isn't it like $10,000 or $5,000?
I like how you're asking me. Is Richard not here?
I don't know. I mean, you've never Googled it or anything?
No, I've never once thought that, hey, maybe I could get a private plane.
What does a private flight cost per hour? I should have had this pulled up already.
You should have been ready, yeah.
What does a private equity firm do? Thanks, Google. Private flights cost per hour, oh, wow, between $1,500 and $18,000 per hour. Thank you, Google. That really helped a lot. But $1.3 million. Second place was, this might surprise you, Nebraska. Of the respondents anyway, but Nebraska. $1.13 million on private flight.
You know what part of that probably is? If you're in Nebraska, to go recruit, you're not doing a lot of driving, right? There's not a lot of players in the 5-hour window of Nebraska. So they want to get to Florida, Texas, California. They got to fly. So that makes sense.
There's very little driving to recruits as a coach at Nebraska.
Yeah. Like Golding, Levy, Kiffin, they can get in the car and fill out their recruiting class.
Yeah, there's a lot of driving that happens here.
Yeah. So
Michigan, just over $1 million. Texas A&M, $925K. Texas, $817K.
I mean, that's just to get around in Texas, you need a plane sometimes.
Illinois, over $600,000, as was Kentucky and Minnesota. Then it dropped significantly. Iowa was $300K. Rutgers was $270K. Ole Miss, just over $200,000. Again, Kiffin flied in other rich people's planes that were associated with Ole Miss. So he flew private a lot more than that number indicates. But there you go.
That's the thing, we don't know. Like, we know the school plane numbers. We don't know the private plane numbers because, keyword, private.
All the way down to the bottom of respondents was Wyoming. They spent $3,200 on a private flight
so 2
last
hours.
year. So they flew somewhere once is what they did. Kalen DeBoer, $1.3 million on private flights last year.
Yeah, that's a lot. Where? Again, because Alabama is a school that you can recruit out of your car, basically. Where was he going?
Maybe there was a 5-star in Alaska. I don't know.
I mean, was he going back and forth to Washington? Does he still have family there, maybe? Something like that?
Ooh, that could be it.
And the university just allowed him to do that?
Maybe it's part of his contract. Like the country club memberships and stuff like that.
That's a real possibility there.
I'm sure there's one in Golding's contract, too. When I was looking at basketball stuff the other day around the Will Wade leaving NC State and what his contract was and if NC State could make a run at Chris Beard. I was looking into that, and the answer was no. It was a hard no. They hired a former player yesterday. But as part of Chris Beard's contract, at least according to the interwebs, is a country club membership, and that always makes me laugh. It's like you're negotiating a $6 million a year contract. I don't know what the dues are at Oxford Country Club, but you don't even notice the dues coming out of your paycheck when you're making $6 million a year. I can't how is that even part of your negotiating conversation, whether it be Jimmy Sexton or whatever? And oh, by the way, you need to give him a free membership at the country club with his $6 million a year salary. But every coach does that. Sark has, I think, 2, right? I think it's 2.
Surely, yeah.
I think he's got 2 country club memberships as part of his deal at Texas.
I'm disappointed State wasn't on there. Got to try harder. Where would Levy have been going? I can't imagine.
And they may just not have responded. Because not every school responded in a timely fashion for him to write this article. Some don't at all, and that's another conversation for another day. But Mississippi State is not one of the schools listed on here.
Can we FOIA SuperTalk to see how much they spend to fly RC around?
No.
I mean, because, again, it's private plane. Cross One is not registered to SuperTalk.
Somebody says, I'm pretty sure DeBoer's daughters play softball for Washington. There it is.
That would make a lot of sense then, yeah.
Somebody says a crop duster would do it for cheaper.
Yeah.
You can't call them that. I said crop duster once and got an unhappy text. Ag pilot is the appropriate term. But anyway, it's your college football fix, sort of. Driven by Ford. Alabama flying their coach around in luxury. To what end? Embarrassing loss in the Rose Bowl to Indiana. That's to what?
Well, you know how it is.
We'll be right back.
And the Venable Blast track.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State. Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
So during this segment, the Artemis II is going to launch to the moon. 4 astronauts going to orbit the moon. It's a 10-day trip.
Now, are they going up there to steal the moon?
I don't think they're going to steal the moon.
They want to steal the moon!
If the moon was made of ribs.
If the moon was made of spare ribs, would you want to eat it? I would. I'd probably ask for seconds.
So I'm going to watch that during this.
Well, yeah, that's cool, yeah.
Something, so played Jeff Lebby and Pete Golding yesterday. Mm-hmm. And something Golding said stuck out to me. I want to do this from a state angle as well. He said that he thinks they have more playable depth, especially on the defensive line, than they had a season ago. And that is something that we talked about going into and then immediately after the Miami game in particular, is that the four starters for Ole Miss on the defensive line, quality. They didn't have a whole lot of playable depth behind them, and you saw that again in the Miami game. Miami was able to just kind of grind them down, and ultimately that was the difference in the game. And they've retained a lot. They portaled and recruited high school at that position well, but that is the difference, and it's something that he made reference to yesterday as well. That was the biggest difference between being a semifinal team and a national championship caliber team. I had somebody in my comments yesterday say, well, if you made the semifinals, they are championship caliber. Why do you keep saying that they weren't? One, they lost, and Indiana was much better than Ole Miss was last year. They were a tier below that national championship game. Now, they made the semifinal. Great team. But they were a couple of things short from being a true title contender. Their head coach thinks that they have addressed that on the defensive line. And, on paper, you've got to really like what they have there in terms of actual, real, playable depth. Eccles, Perkins, Franklin. They get the big defensive tackle transfer from Florida. Jam Brown returns. He signed a new deal. Andrew Maddox back. Former 4-star from Mississippi. I think he was 5-star in one service, right? Doesn't matter. Blue chipper.
Good player.
From Mississippi.
Or a good high school player. We'll see what he's got. We haven't seen him yet much in college.
Yeah, Cam Beavers, also back, another blue chip from the high school ranks. You get Renaud from Alabama. You get Purchase from Oregon. If Pete Golding is right, that is a huge... obviously, breaking news more at 11, being good at the line of scrimmage is important to win football games. But that is something that held them back a year ago. And on paper, you look at that defensive line room, and they've got a lot of talent and experience and depth and all of that. So that is something that they were missing last year. It seems like they have addressed it. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, you hope that Golding's not lying to you. Not lying, but you know what I mean. When he says
his evaluations are correct.
Yeah. That they have more playable depth on the defensive line, because that killed them in that Miami game.
That's what you remember. We had these discussions last year. We were like, Golding really likes what he's got there in that room, and that's why they didn't go as heavy in the portal. Coming off of a year where they went out and got Walter Nolan, and they went out and got Princely and Manny Ellen. And you're right, like they had good players. Franklin, Eccles, Xavier Harris, good players. They didn't have that next group down.
Yeah.
Last year, 2 years ago, when Nolan and Emmanuel and Ivy and Pegues came off the field, Franklin and Eccles and Harris came on the field. And you just didn't have that next group.
And that's what they did use the portal this year. They got 2 defensive tackles and 3 edges out of the portal to complement what they were returning. I think that was intentional, because you're exactly right. They did not go portal heavy last year. It was really just Prince Will. And then Womack didn't play much, the LSU transfer. He didn't
now
really
he's
much.
at Auburn, right?
He's at Auburn.
Yeah.
Which, if he's going to start at Auburn...
this is sort of the same debate I had with some Alabama fans about Kendrick Bentley-Jones. Like, if that guy is playing for you, then... Because I don't know that he was necessarily going to start for Mississippi State. He would have been a great depth piece for Mississippi State. Yeah. Love to have had him as your second guy, but... The fact that he's there is and that same thing with Womack, a guy who couldn't really get on the field last year for Ole Miss, and now it's just funny how that works sometimes. But and that's one of those things where maybe the opportunity is going to be better for him at Auburn, and he can take advantage of it and go there. Bingley Jones is kind of not the same. Bingley Jones played plenty at Mississippi State last year.
Yeah.
Did I ever come on this show last season and be like, wow, what a tremendous performance from Kendrick Bentley-Jones? No, I never did. I will save you the trouble of going back and looking.
It appears that they've got something there on the defensive line in terms of true depth and address the needs, and I think you should feel very confident in that group this season. What is that for State? Where it was something that last year they were just short. They were short a player or two or whatever, and you feel as of April 1st that they really addressed that need, and you're really confident in that group going into this season.
It's cornerback. Last year, I thought Kelly Jones was going to be a good player. I didn't know what he was going to become. He obviously became a really, really elite cornerback and will be a potential All-American this year. And then they went out and they got 3 guys, including a guy in Quentin Taylor, the kid from Iowa State, that played a lot of football last year. They really did a good job of remaking that room. I feel like State in the secondary should be relatively strong this year. Between Kelly Jones and Taylor at the cornerback position, plus Grimsley and Singleton back there, they signed a bunch of safeties in Jordan Gilbert, Kendall Dolby. They bring back, obviously, Isaac Smith. They signed a 5-star kid, or the 4-star, wherever you look. You saw him in Braylon Womack. I expect him to make some sort of contribution this year. I think State secondary is actually a strength, which a year ago I would not have said.
Yeah, Womack is a super athlete. I don't know if he's ready to play day one, but in terms of especially a guy like that on special teams, I mean, how much that can help you. That's another thing that I don't know if we've talked about enough. And Goldie made reference to it yesterday that, when you build depth, it's not necessarily about what they give you in a big game at their position. But when you've got elite players on your on your third team, they go play special teams. And you can improve that phase of the ball greatly, not only, to survive an injury, but I didn't think about that yesterday because when I think special teams, kicker and punter. Is your kicker good? Is your punter good? But Ole Miss has not had a good return game in years. And apparently that's something that they have addressed as well. But a guy like Womack falls into that category. He may not start or really play all that much, but a guy that talented is going to find his way on the field somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, your kickoff return team, you don't want that to be 11 walk-ons in your kicker.
Yeah.
Right? You want to have some scholarship guys out there who can, make plays for you. And for State, Womack is definitely a guy who I feel like is going to make some sort of contribution somewhere in the field. He's just too good an athlete to not contribute as a freshman. You don't say, and I say this all the time, and it's if you are a highly recruited kid, if you're one of the top 50 players in the country, which Womack was, right, and you don't contribute early, especially at a school like Mississippi State, right? I understand if you're at Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State and you don't contribute right away. I can get that, right? A kid like that at Mississippi State should be on the field first year. If he's not, that's a red flag to me. So, and I know State's got some, like I said, they signed a bunch of safeties. They've got Isaac Smith back there. They've got players, but if this kid's talented enough, he should be involved in year one. And if he's not, then that's an issue.
For sure. Somebody says, disagree about Indiana being much better than Ole Miss. Indiana beat Miami by 1 play, and Miami beat Ole Miss by 1 play, and Ole Miss should have gotten another play against Miami. I think really what I'm getting at is you saw the physical mismatch on the line of scrimmage between Ole Miss and Miami. Ole Miss could not stop the run, especially in that first half. I mean, Miami was just able to grind out possession after possession after possession. They frankly should have never really thrown the football. Sorry, I don't know how to say this without kind of sounding like a jerk, but Miami kind of allowed Ole Miss to be in that game more than they should have. Mm-hmm. They were physically, at least on the line of scrimmage, better than Ole Miss was.
And also in that game, I mean, how many – I hate the term near interceptions. So I think if you're an old school sports fan in this state, you know why. But Chambliss nearly threw like 5 picks in that game, and Miami just didn't take advantage of them.
So T minus 4 minutes and 27 seconds until this rocket launches. It's always so interesting to me. I'm not doing the conspiracy thing. These images don't look real, though.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like this is actually about to happen because you only see this stuff in movies, really.
It's cool, though.
It's extremely cool. Yeah. I wish I was there. Some kid, 11-year-old kid, dropped the F-bomb on CNN. CNN reporter asked him, why are you here? Why are you watching this? He goes, we're about to go to the moon.
Yeah, the moon. There you go.
11-year-old kid live on CNN. Make his parents proud. We'll be right back in the Pearl River Resort studio.
From theSeabrook.com.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on SuperTalk.fm, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and always live on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station.
Well, that was extremely cool. The Artemis II lifted off and is only a speck in the sky now. As I think they said that after launch, it goes so fast that the shuttle is above Ireland in 6 minutes. So from Florida to above Ireland in 6 minutes. They're going to get all the way to the moon. What is it, 280,000 miles to the moon and around the moon and start heading home in 6 days. 280,000 miles, and they will get there and around and start turning back home in 6 days. Incredible stuff. And they've got...
I don't know if you know this. This is one of those things, but if your car could drive straight up, you could be at the space station in 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the International Space Station, not all that...
This is not that far
away.
Yeah. You could be at the moon in 174 days. That's at 60 miles an hour. So, I mean, if I drove 80, maybe like 2.5. That'd be incredible to put that on Google Maps and be like, all right, estimated arrival time is 9:39. I'm going to shave at least an hour off of this. Let's go. Let's go, Google Maps.
Oh, man, I can't get enough of this. They are...
it's really cool, yeah. It used to be a thing, all the time. We'd launch stuff, send it up into space.
Yeah. The videos of SpaceX landing the rockets is still surreal.
Yeah.
But this is... I'm sitting here watching these people right now. And now, again, they're on the NASA cameras, and so really it is just like a small speck of... But, they're gone. They're gone now. That's unbelievable.
Now, here's the question. Will everybody who questions moon landings, some of whom may have hosted a podcast with me, will they question this one?
I've got a live stream right now, this rocket flying over the Earth.
Well,
so
I get that, but nowadays I could create a live stream of me flying over the air. I could be Superman. What are we doing here?
No live streams.
Nobody believes anything like that. So.
Back in the day. We did we're getting these questions. Do you really think we landed on the moon in 1969?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
I've read a lot about it. It's fascinating to me. I don't think we're going to go down that road today.
No, let's just avoid that.
Maybe more for tomorrow. Tyler says parts for rockets like these have been built in Iuka for a long time. Proud to be a part of every launch we've had. Is that I'm not discrediting what you're saying. Is that true, though? That's amazing.
I don't know.
Wait, there are so many little things like that in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Like our good friends that do the stencils and the paint for every meaningful American sporting event.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just small town Mississippi is where that originates.
Yeah. Space is only an hour away if you could get your car to drive straight up.
James sending us the pictures right now. Hey, Dad, if you're not watching the live stream, you can see the images they're sending back. It's really cool.
It's awesome. So they say. They say they're sending us these things back. We don't know this for a fact, according to some.
That would be pretty sweet, by the way, to tailgate a moon launch. You had a bunch of people out there in lawn chairs and stuff having a party.
Yeah.
Hanging out in Florida with a lawn chair and a cooler.
if we were Sports Talk Florida, first off, we'd be wearing jorts. But secondly, I would absolutely have tried to sell a remote that we could have been at the moon, the launch.
The moon launch remote? That would have been sweet.
I would have dressed up as Groot. Was it Groot? Groot is the tree.
Yes.
Gru was his name. And then would have tried to act like I was going to steal the moon.
Yeah, I would have dressed up like an alien.
You could have been a minion.
That would have been. Yeah, but minions aren't aliens. I would have been an alien.
Okay.
Like green alien suit.
Okay, I got you. A moon man.
Hey, Dad, why didn't we do this? What?
Well, because we're not Sports Talk Florida. We're Sports Talk Mississippi. So we couldn't, I don't think we could have pulled that one off.
So, yeah, Tyler, since it's a follow-up, that is absolutely accurate. That is really, really cool. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then, yeah, they'll splash land in the ocean when they come back.
Very good. How long are they going to be gone?
I think they said a 10-day mission. So 6 to get there around it, and then 4 to get back, I think.
They're not actually going to land?
They will not land. And they explained why on the broadcast, and because of this, I couldn't listen to the exploit. But they described what they're trying to do with this mission doesn't require a landing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Far be it for me to understand.
I wish they were
nuances
landing,
of that.
Just like to see that.
I think so. Part of it, I may have misheard. I'm just a normal guy. I think part of it was because of the rover technology. There's like a what's the point element. Mm-hmm. Like don't need to because got the drones for that now.
Right.
They do all the things that the people would be doing anyway. So don't need to go through all that trouble now because we can remote control them from Earth. It was more scientific than that, but I think that was part of it. Mm-hmm. But again, I was trying to talk to you.
It's a good point here. If we landed on the moon 60 years ago, there'd be a Dollar General there by now. Also, an Alexander Shunara billboard. All of those things would be on the moon you make a solid point.
The rockets were tested at Stennis Space Center, also in Mississippi. Really? What's the center of the universe?
I don't know. Conspiracy theory alert. We didn't land because we were told not to come back to the moon. There was a movie about that, right?
Moon's haunted.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
I don't know.
They went to the moon and there was there was something there?
Yeah, they're going to land in 2028.
Okay, 2028.
Justin, this is extremely cool. My son is in San Diego in the Navy. He works on the birds that will be picking up the astronauts. That is awesome. I know you're proud of him, but we thank him for his service.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's exactly what he signed up for, but what a cool diversion from what he was signing up for when he joined the Navy, huh?
Yeah, that's one of those things where you didn't expect that when you signed up, but hey, that's awesome.
Louis says if we really landed on the moon, there'd already be an NFL exhibition game. Roger Goodell is going to put an NFL game on the moon. Don't you worry. He will find a way. Brazil, Germany, the Vatican,
mm-hmm. The moon.
Antarctica. They'll find a way.
Hey, look, if you built a dome in Antarctica, they'd play a game there. It's got to be a dome, though. You can't play non-dome games in Antarctica. That would be a problem.
Our grandfather worked on a project at the Waterways Experience Station in Vicksburg where they tested the first set of lunar cart tires. If we didn't go to the moon, we sure wasted a lot of time and effort to test them.
Yeah.
I need to know what is in a lunar cart tire and what makes it different than a regular tire. It's got to be, totally different, right? You can't just throw a set of Michelins up there, can you?
Yeah, I would imagine not. Yeah, they got to have something else going on there. I don't know. I got no. You're outside of my areas of expertise.
Brent says Buc-ee's would definitely be the first gas station on the moon.
Be the cleanest moon gas station you ever saw.
Be unbelievable.
They'd have to double the pay. Like they're already paying good money to work at Buc-ee's, but you're talking about like $50 an hour to be on there. Fresh brisket on the moon. You got to have to pay more.
And then comes
that's a hell of a commute.
And then comes the Starbucks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Slap a Starbucks up there.
Yeah. Moonbucks.
Terrible puns for all the overpriced coffee that you're drinking.
Yeah. How much? Imagine the inflation on the moon.
Oh, I mean.
I think after Greenland, the moon needs to be next on Trump's hit list. We need the moon.
Somebody just says they're solid rubber tires. Somebody else says they're piano string tires. Which one is it?
I mean, I don't know.
Or is it like...
Again, I don't know the answer.
Or is it like piano strings within the tire, kind of like a cord grip on a golf club?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I am not a man of science. I'm a man of sports and leisure.
Are they really going to sell that green cheese on the moon? Yeah.
That's what the moon is made of. So, you know, it's like selling dirt here. It's like selling soil. It's bags of it.
So you imagine getting all the way there and getting a flat tire? Oh, imagine getting to the moon and your lunar cart won't turn over.
What do you mean you don't have a jack?
Yeah.
Where's the jack? Where's the tire iron?
We need to cut weight.
You left it on Earth.
Do I have to turn this thing around?
That would be incredible.
We'll be back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Men and a woman on their way to the moon again. We'll be back.
And the Venable Blast.
You can be a part of Sports Talk Mississippi. 888-808-8637 on Super Talk Mississippi.
Moon Talk Mississippi.
I can't look away. I'm sorry, guys. It's on me that the end of the show went from football to all this, but I can't look away from this. You've got astronauts on the set of this broadcast crying. They're so proud of what just happened. I mean, it's wild. So sorry, that's on me. I couldn't look away from this moon launch thing. It's awesome.
I mean, it's okay. I'm not.
It's
mad
okay. It's okay. It's more than okay.
I'm saying it's okay that you can't look away. I'm not saying. No, the moon launch itself is awesome.
You going to talk about the moon launch on Thunder and Lightning coming up here in about 12 minutes from right now?
Seems unlikely.
Okay.
I promise probably 100% less moon talk when we go to Thunder and Lightning.
Because I'll be
talk about some of the moon shots that Jacob Parker and Kevin Lewuski have been putting out pretty soon. We'll talk some baseball, a little spring football. And the month of April is a big one here in the city of Starkville. We'll talk a little bit about that as well.
So a lot of really cool text coming in about this, by the way. And then there's this. I listen to this program to hear sports talk, not moon crap mixed in between all the other. Again, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I can't help it. We just shot a rocket to the moon. It's one of those proud to be an American moments right there, man. Only in America is stuff like that happening, buddy.
Mm-hmm. We need. I think that they should have the rocket. It should be blaring Freebird as it goes across the sky. Let the moon know we're coming. Like, imagine if you're a little moon man, you're up there like, what is that noise? Like, if I leave here tomorrow. The Americans are coming.
They got to be careful up there. Not much in the way of sports tonight. Hey, Dad, there's really not any midweek baseball in the SEC because it is.
I mean, everybody starts up tomorrow except for LSU. What is it? LSU. Who are they playing? Tennessee and Missouri, Kentucky are the only Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. A bunch of heathens, I guess. They're not wanting to do the Easter holiday. Apparently, softball's the same way.
No national broadcast of baseball. There's only 2 games coming up tonight. All the other ones are done for the day. The Braves off to a 4-2 start despite the off-season injuries. So, that's something.
Yeah, they're pretty good. See how it goes.
Giants, winners of 2 in a row, although they lost today.
Hold on, let me find it. Yeah, let's not talk about it. Let's just, you know what? Let's just leave the Giants kind of where they are and things of that nature, sort of thing. I'm trying to find this email we got from our boss here. We were supposed to talk about something. Here it is. We want to give a big shout out to Courtney Cox, not the actress. Courtney Cox of Tupelo. She won our Hardy and Tupelo concert package. Tickets to see Hardy at the Cadence Bank Arena next Friday, along with an autographed Hardy guitar, a hotel stay at Hotel Tupelo, a $200 gift card to Fair Park Grill. She registered at the Black Sheep Boutique in Tupelo. And we all want to let you guys know we have another exciting concert giveaway coming up very soon. Post Malone and Jelly Roll are performing at Vaught Hemingway Stadium this summer. And SuperTalk Mississippi will be giving away a bunch of tickets. Go to supertalk.fm to learn how you can register to win. And I can't wait.
So we're not allowed to say the name of the tour.
I got to find out. We got to be able to say the name of the tour. We got to be able to say it. All right, we got to give this it's proper advertising. That's the name of the tour. We got to be able to say it. Dang it.
You seen this picture of Kewan Lacey holding the turkey that he shot? It's at the very top of the text line.
It's a big boy.
It's a big old turkey.
Yeah.
Not, I don't think, participating in spring, at least early on, because that shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
But, that doesn't mean you can't go get a turkey with the real tree guys.
A turkey that big might hurt your shoulder to hold up. That's a big boy.
Somebody says, was the moon launch an April Fool's joke? That does not help the conspiracy people at all to
that it was
do the moon
today.
launch on.
Yeah.
And obviously it's because of, where everything is. Because you can't just steer the rocket to the moon. You got to launch it when it's in a certain place and all that stuff. But yeah, that does make it kind of funny that it happened on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, sometimes I understand, again, there's windows for this. You got to have certain launch conditions. But somebody had to be like, look, surely April 2nd is just as good, right? It's got to be. How different is the weather on April 2nd that we can't do this? So. Oh, well, so be it.
So be it. Tomorrow we will preview the series that are upcoming.
We'll see if we need to see if we can get Brad Henderson and Jay Powell on with us tomorrow. And don't forget, Friday, no Sports Talk Mississippi, no programming. I'll be best of programming here on Sports Talk with her mornings with Richard Cross. Not that he was going to work on a Friday anyway. Middays with Gerard, Rebecca Turner, Good Things with Rebecca Turner, and us. We will be best of. So we will miss you on Friday, but we will be here tomorrow to preview 3 huge series in the state of, or not in the state of Mississippi, with the state of Mississippi's teams between Mississippi State, Southern Mississippi, and Ole Miss. I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to, take a moment to myself, collect my thoughts. Thunder and Lightning Live just a moment from now. For Michael Borky, I'm Brian Haydad. We'll see you tomorrow, Sports Talk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.